Hey Alex, how you doing?
Doing good. How you doing?
Doing well. So one of my canvassers came by a couple weeks ago. I set an appointment with you about coming and inspecting your roof. Here to inspect it.
Awesome.
So I want to say thanks a lot for giving us an opportunity to take care of your roof. What we're going to do is we're going to hop up on the roof first. We're going to check and see if you have any hail damage, wind damage to the roof. If you do, I'm going to come back down and show you some of the pictures so you and I both can agree whether we have hail damage on the roof. If we do find hail damage, what I want to do is, if you don't mind, walk around the yard for me for a second. We're going to walk together and we're going to try to find out any other storm damage, because what we want to do is want to make sure that we maximize your claim if we have to put in one on your roof, because not only does your insurance company pay for your roof, but if you have any bad gutters, your mailbox, if you have a camper outside, which I saw that you did, window screens, windows, anything that was damaged by the storm, we want to make sure that we get that replaced and get the money back to you to make sure we can maximize your claim. Does that make sense?
Sounds good.
First things first, let's check the roof. I'll be up about 5 or 10 minutes. I'm going to take a bunch of pictures. It might be a little loud with me up there. Just know I'm not falling off or anything like that.
I've got kids, so we're good on the
Perfect, fantastic. We'll give me about 5 or 10 minutes. I'll be right back down, okay?
Sounds good. Appreciate
Thanks.
you, Zach.
Okay guys, we just met with the homeowner. We have permission to go climb up on the roof. Again, you want to make sure that you don't climb up on anyone's roof without getting permission first. So what we want to do is be able to find a safe place to access the roof. Right here on the front of the house, there's not a great deal of places that we actually can get on the roof in a safe manner. So we're going to go around back. But before you climb up, you want to check a few things. Make sure you have your safety shoes on. Make sure you have your tool belt with you. And make sure you have your gloves on, especially on a steep roof like this, because this will help you grip. And most of all, you want to make sure you have your camera or your cell phone with you in order to take your pictures. Remember, there's no such thing as taking too many pictures. Let's go on the roof and take a look. Okay guys, so we're going to go ahead and access the roof. So it's important to keep in mind whenever you set up your ladder, you want at least 3 feet of excess ladder above the gutters. Some people tell you don't put your ladder on the gutters. You can put your ladder on the gutters. Just make sure you're not making a lot of metal-to-metal contact or you're bending the gutters. In that case, try to see if there's a little bit more accessible place that you can get on the roof without the gutters. However, a lot of the homes you're going to look at have gutters all around. So this is perfectly okay and perfectly safe. So we're going to go ahead and climb up on the roof and start taking a look. Okay guys, so the first thing we're going to take a picture of, as soon as we get up on the ladders, we're going to start looking at the drip edge. So we're going to pull some of the shingles back and take a look at the drip edge. Make sure we get a picture there. Now, if you have any questions on what a drip edge is, please use Google, please use YouTube, and find out what a drip edge actually looks like. So again, you want to be safe when you access the roof. Make sure you're trying to get up into a valley if you can. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get to the very top of the roof. Watch him climb that roof with them cougar paws. Well, before you can do a proper roof inspection for storm damage restoration, you might need to know what hail looks like first. In this image, you see a large dark circle right above the finger. That large dark circle is known as a hail strike, a hail hit, or a hail bruise. This is caused by large hailstones falling from the sky, striking the roof, causing granular loss in the outside of the shingle. On the back side of the shingle, it causes cuts in the asphalt. After this has occurred, when it rains, water can enter in where there is granular loss, in through the cracks of the asphalt of the shingle, getting into the underlayment, and then the decking of the roof. Once the water reaches the decking of the roof, it can start to rot and also even get inside the home. Insurance companies want to make sure water stays on the outside of the home, not on the inside. Once water gets on the inside, it becomes very expensive to do the repairs. As you can see in this image, there's a much smaller hail strike. It's important to note that it is a hail strike by the dark circle in the middle, and there should be an indentation if you press down with your fingers to identify what exactly is a hail hit. This would be one that you would circle in your inspection. Can you identify where the hail strike occurs? If you look just to the bottom right of the middle of the screen, you'll see a hail strike right there on your shingle. Again, this would be one you circle during your inspection. As soon as you get on top of the roof, one of the first things you want to identify is where are the soft metals. Many of the vents and covers will have soft metals. These are very easily damaged by hail hits, as seen in this picture. Anytime you have hail hits on your soft metals, it probably means that you're going to have hail hits on the rest of the house. Now in this photo, you have a small hit. Is that a hail strike, or is that something called blistering? Well, let's look in the next photo what blistering actually looks like. So this is an example of blistering. As you can see, there is granule loss, but there's no indentation, and this is caused by a roof overheating due to poor ventilation. This is very important to note the difference between what is a hail strike and what is blistering. Blistering is very common on the roofs that you're going to inspect. This is just another example of blistering all over a roof. Again, this is a poorly ventilated roof, probably does not have the proper ventilation like a ridge vent or extra vents on the back side of the home. If you have any questions between the two, please seek further assistance online. Okay guys, so once we get on top of the roof, what we want to look at is a few items. Once we get up here, the first thing we want to look at is the very top of the ridge or the steep of the roof. Many times you'll have a ridge vent up here, and so anytime you have hail, you're going to see hits on this first and if there's any soft metals. So after we take a look at this, we're going to start taking our pictures. So the first thing we want to do when we start taking our pictures on top of the roof, any hail hits you see here, and then we want a picture of every facet of the roof. So we're going to take a picture here, here, here. Okay, so once we have all the pictures taken at the top of the roof, we go ahead and start doing our inspection. Okay guys, so again, the biggest thing we're looking for is storm damage on the roof. So one of the things you want to do is check for wind lift on your shingles. So what this is going to do when you have wind lift is when you pull on these shingles, the tabs are going to come up. If you start noticing it into a Z pattern, particularly on a 3-tab shingle, this is an architectural shingle, but on a 3-tab, you'll notice that you can pull up a whole sheet of shingles. Make sure that you annotate that in your pictures and you circle those spots. Now, if it's all over the roof, just take a few pictures of it and make sure you're putting it into the job notes. Now, when looking for hail, make sure always you have your chalk. So make sure you're marking off your wind spots, and we're looking for hail. So on this roof, we're going to start circling our hail hits. Now, what we want to do is we want to be able to draw out our square. Okay, so circle anytime you have a hit. And the reason we have your measuring tape is we want to measure out 100 square feet. So this is a really steep roof. So what we're going to do is we're going to mark out a 10-foot by 10-foot square. We're going to put a mark here. This ends down here by the gutter. So anytime I see a hail hit, I'm going to put a circle there. Now if you need any questions whatsoever on what a hail hit looks like, there'll be linked videos after this on some information on what a hail hit should look like, what's the difference between a blister, a blueberry, and a hail strike. But when we're doing our inspection, we really want to find 10 to 15 hits per square, and when we do that, just about any insurance company will buy it. Now this stuff changes from insurance company to insurance company, and some of the insurance companies will pay for 6 hits per square. Some of them go all the way up and want to see 10 to 15 such as Allstate. So do your test square. All right, for this one we have 14. Now, this is a really steep roof, so can't really do it, but we know the sun sets in the west. So this side is the north. This is facing the north side. So inside of my test square, I'm gonna write N equals 14. And then I'm gonna take a picture for documentation. Now, in order to get a hail claim bought, we need to see 3 or more planes hit by anywhere from 6 to 15 hits per side. Once you get over 15 hits, you can go ahead and stop, make sure they're circled, annotate, and maybe take a couple close-in pictures of what the hail strikes look like. And then also any wind damage you have, again, make sure you get it annotated. This will give you more ammo to get the roof bought by the insurance company. Okay guys, so we just finished the roof inspection. We did find 10 to 15 hits of hail on the roof on 3 or more planes. That constitutes a new roof replacement from the insurance company. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk to the homeowner, talk about how we need to alert the insurance company, and then we're going to do a quick walk around of the rest of the home to take more pictures of the other damage that we find on the exterior of the home to help maximize his insurance claim. Let's go.
Hey, Zach.
Hey Alex. Okay, so I hope I went too loud up there. We've got finished with the inspection. Now we did find some hail up on your roof. We actually have about 5 slopes that have about 10 to 15 hits per slope and some wind damage. Now were you out here during the hailstorm that happened last night?
No, I was actually at work, but
Okay.
my mom, she lives not too far down the road, and she told me it was pretty bad.
Yep.
It was pretty bad.
So what we saw was probably about gumball to golf ball size hail that actually hit the roof. Now how old's the roof?
It's roughly 7 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, in North Alabama, it gets really hot in the summertime, really cold in the wintertime. And also we get sleet, we get heavy rains. What happens over time is actually degrades those shingles from all the other weather patterns that we have in this area. So when we get large hailstones like golf ball size hail that hits the architectural shingle, it actually damages the shingle. I just want to show you a couple of pictures just so you know what you see up there. Okay, so this is the main damage that we saw up on the shingles. Do you see that?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Wow, I would have never realized that.
Yeah, so when you see damage like this, what happens is those hail strikes actually hit your shingle, and it actually causes creases on the backside of the asphalt. Those creases and those cuts on the backside of the asphalt causes leaks whenever there's rain, and it leaks into the underlayment of your roof, and then actually gets into eventually your attic and then inside your home. Now, insurance companies want to keep the water outside of your house, not inside, because when you get inside of your home, it gets really, really expensive to repair it. Okay? So what we want to do is make sure that we're getting the roof taken care of now. I'm going to show you a few more pictures. This is some of the wind damage that we saw. So in summary, we have more than enough, in my opinion, to warrant a full roof replacement from your insurance company. So the next step is to alert the insurance company. Now, as part of your policy, anytime that you have damage to your home, that you need to alert your insurance company. Does that sound okay?
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. If I've got damage, I definitely want to alert them as well.
Okay. Before we call your insurance company, what I want to do first is, if you don't mind to take out just a minute, I want to walk around your home to kind of show you some of the other exterior damage that I may have noted and make sure that we get everything and we start documenting everything. Does that sound okay?
Absolutely.
All right, let's go take a look.
Let's go look.
Okay, Alex, there's a couple of spots that I want to show you that I was able to point out. Now, if you see anything too, I'm not perfect. There are things that I miss from time to time. Feel free to point them out to me. I'll let you know whether I feel like there's storm damage or not. But at the end of the day, it's going to be up to the adjuster to whether they buy it or not. So we're going to go ahead and start the exterior expansion of your house. So one of the things that we want to look at is your window screens. This is very important. So we'll look at all your window screens and see if we see any tears. Looks like you've got a small cut right here. So I'm going to take a picture of that. Okay. And also we want to look at anything on the exterior of the windows. A lot of this sometimes is soft plastics and it can be damaged really easy by hailstones. So we also want to look at any of the fascia, anything on the bricks, Anything that looks like it might have been damaged by hail, we want to make sure we take a picture of it. I noticed you had a couple of dents right here on this downspout, so I'm going to go ahead and take a picture of that. And then we want to look at your main gutters. And you can see when we were on top of your roof that you had a couple little spots right here. So I'll make sure we take a picture of that so we get that annotated. When we look at the garage door, what I'm really looking for is to see if I see any spots that were not caused by, maybe a basketball hitting it or a trash can or a car had ran into it or backed into it. So we're looking for anything that is golf ball size or marble size like we saw with the hailstorm. And it doesn't look like we have anything on the garage door. But if we did, we want to make sure we take a picture of that. So as we go to the exterior of the house, and again, all this stuff is subjective. So my job is to make sure that if it is a possibility that it could have been damaged during the hailstorm, we want to make sure that we bring it up to the insurance company and make them make the decision on whether it was damaged by the hailstorm or not. So we see another little spot right here on this downspout, so I'm going to take a picture of that. Now, Alex, the good news is any damage that was done to your downspouts, the insurance company is required to replace it. So even if it's just one hit on your downspout, they have to replace it. These window screens look fine. And an item that we'll go look at in a little bit, a lot of people forget about, is the mailbox. So while your mailbox is across the street, that's still your property and that's still covered by the insurance company. So that's something you always want to check and make sure that your mailbox hasn't been hit, because if it's just one dent on the mailbox, it has to be replaced. So other items that are commonly damaged during a hail strike is AC units, particularly ones that don't have, so you have this big grill guard here, and it keeps a lot of times from hail entering these areas. The ones that have the very thin cuts and has this soft metal in here, anytime that's bent, make sure you take a picture of that, because that is an absolute 100% item that we can supplement to the insurance company. Both of your AC units look fine. There's no major dents. Now, if there were any on the top of this, I would just take out my chalk and rub on here and take a picture of any dents that we find. Also, any lighting, if you notice any cracks in your glasses or anything like that, all this looks fine to me. This is something that the insurance company will cover. Also, your window panes, looks like you got a small spot right here. Take a picture. And all that looks good. There's another window screen that's got some damage. Also, you want to make sure that you get a picture of the satellite dish too. We're going to detach and reset that whenever we put the new roof on. So just so you know, as a homeowner, you might be without your satellite for a day or two while we replace the roof. So again, we have a small cut in the screen here. Let's make sure we take a picture of that, just so we have the insurance company decide whether they feel like it's from hail or not. This downspout up, we got a small spot right here. We'll make sure we take a picture of that. And then also this satellite dish as well. So they need to replace both of these satellite dishes. Okay, so on the back side of the house, one of the things we want to look at also is the exterior of the fence. Now, a lot of policies in Alabama, and if you're watching this in another state, it may not apply. Make sure you check the homeowner's policy. Some of the fences are not covered, some of them are. But what we want to look for is hail spatter on these fences, and it'll look like just little hits or large chunks around the edges where hail hit the edges and actually knocked into the wood. And anytime there's hail spatter on a finished fence, so it has to be treated and finished. If it's not, they're not going to pay for it. But we're looking for hail spatter, and the insurance company will actually pay for it on your fence. But Alex, in this case, your fence is just fine. These window screens are just fine. These gutters are fine, and we've already checked all this stuff over here, so all this stuff is good. Now in the backyard, we want to make sure that we look at all of the things in your backyard. So your trampoline, for instance, everything looks fine on the trampoline, but if there was any hits into this matting, any cuts into the screen or the trampoline itself, has to be covered by the insurance company. Also, any hits to any grills, outdoor patio furniture, any things of that nature, the insurance company has to pay for. But luckily, it seems like all of your stuff is good. I don't see any major issues there. I think we have enough with your dents in your gutters, some of the window screens, some of the downspouts, so we're probably going to be able to supplement a couple of extra things. Does everything sound good?
Sounds good, thank you.
Alex, there's obvious damage around your home between your downspouts, the roof, the gutters, some of the other small things we saw at the exterior of your house. Your mailbox actually had a couple of dings in it that you saw.
Yeah.
So the next thing that we need to do is we need to alert your insurance company like we talked about earlier. So it's real simple. I'll kind of explain how the process works about alerting the insurance company. One thing that we need to go over first is just our agreement. Now, this isn't a contract that you owe me any money whatsoever. This is just an agreement between you and me and Digital Roofing Innovations that if we get your roof bought by the insurance company, that you're going to allow us to do the work. Now, if the insurance company doesn't buy the roof, you don't owe me a dime. You don't owe the company a dime. All it is if we get the roof bought, that you allow us the opportunity to take care of you and do your roof and any exterior damages on your house.
That's
Does that sound okay?
Yeah, sounds great.
Okay, so again, if they don't buy the roof, you don't owe us any money whatsoever.
Right, okay.
And also in this agreement, I want you to read over this. One of the things I want to bring out is this point that if we buy you the roof, the most money that you're going to pay out of your pocket, short of us doing any upgrades that's outside of what you have on the roof now, is just your deductible. Okay?
So you're saying I get a brand new roof for $1,000 out of my pocket, pretty
Correct.
much, if the insurance company buys the roof.
That's correct. Not only just a new roof, we've also got some of the gutters and your downspouts and some of the other things that are around here.
Good deal.
Does that sound okay?
That sounds great.
Okay, so as you read through this, there's a couple of things that I want to just point out, just so we're 100% transparent. Your deductible, and part of this is you notice down here there's a company called Genesis. So what Genesis is our billing department. So you and I are not going to ever exchange any money. All the money that we exchange is going to go through Genesis. So think about when you go get into the doctor's office and you're sick and you pay your copay.
Right.
That's what your deductible is. And then you know how a lot of times you'll receive a bill in the mail and it'll be an external bill collecting company,
Right.
Or billing company. This is the same thing that Genesis is for us. It's just, it keeps us from having to have an internal billing department. We outsource it to a company called Genesis, and they're really, really great. They're going to send you pre-stamped envelopes and everything like that for you to send your checks. And they're really, really great on helping to explain anything. So if you have any problems with that, you can feel free to call me directly, and I'll help you with the process. But they'll be calling you about 48 hours after we get the roof bought, if we do get it bought. Does that sound okay?
That sounds great. It sounds great.
Okay. So now that we've got this filled out, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and call and alert the insurance company. Now, who is your insurance agent?
It's Brad Tank with Allstate.
Okay, Allstate.
Yeah.
Okay, great. I know Brad. Brad's a great guy. We're not actually going to call him directly, and the reason we're not is we're going to go ahead and call the national hotline for claims. That's the protocol. And most of the time, you would think that you want to call your local insurance agent. And it's again not that we're cutting Brad out. What we're going to do is we're going to call them because we need to alert them to get an adjuster out. So if we call Brad, it's just adding an extra step. The national hotline is going to go ahead and send a message to Brad anyway to let him know that you are putting in a claim on the roof. Now, don't worry, Brad's not going to be call you and get mad or anything like that. It's just part of the procedure.
Right.
So he's totally familiar how this works. Now, Brad also, while he's a great guy, the actual agents don't deal a whole lot with the insurance claims. What they are really just to build their book of business and make sure that you're paying your homeowner's insurance every month.
Right.
That sound familiar?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll go ahead and get them on the phone real quick. We'll give them a call and go ahead and get this started.
Sounds good. Let's do it.
Great.